Hello guys, welcome back to another live stream. Today we are doing championship predictions. So subscribe and like, of course. I'll be joined by a guest in a minute. I'll get him in the minute. But subscribe, like, get any questions in. We are back. Of course, we did miss tonight's games. Because of course we're busy and all that, doing different lives. But yeah, we are back. Keep subscribing to this channel, subscribe to my main, and let's get in the guest.
Yes, I'm alright, mate. Yes, thanks for having me on, and I'm looking forward to, of course, dissecting this weekend's games. But yeah, thank you.
Now, of course, it is 2 games playing. Of course, Sheffield United are beating Hull 1-0, and massively West Brom are beating Burnley 1-0. West Brom, they're playing good. Let's talk about tonight game. I know they're playing already, but Sheffield United beating Hull 1-0 at a minute. Can you see Hull getting a goal back?
Yeah, no, I don't. No, now Sheffield United, of course, took that early lead, and of course, Sheffield United will be trying to get a second now. Obviously, I'm surprised they haven't scored again, actually. Obviously, nearly on the hour mark. But no, I think Sheffield United will win this one. I think they'll get a couple more goals. I can't see Hull doing it, to be fair. Sheffield United are just too strong.
Yeah, I agree. I think I did predict Sheffield United to win this. Just though, I think it will be a tough game because Hull are playing good lately. But to the stats, let's see who's doing better. So to the stats, it is saying Sheffield United are playing better. But yeah, they're just having the ball. They've had 11 shots, only 4 on target. Hull had 5 shots, only 1 on target. So not many chances in that game. But moving over to, of course, West Brom. I think it's half time right now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
West Brom beating Burnley 1-0. What do you think of that early start?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Burnley, they set the pace at the top of the league, and obviously West Brom have just been incredible since Carlos Corbin coming. Of course, they've just been flying. Obviously, up to third. If they win this game, they'll be up to third. Massive result. But yeah, obviously still 45 minutes to go. But yeah, I'm impressed by West Brom, and if they can get this win, it will really send a big statement out to the teams at the top, of course. And Burnley, we'll be looking to try and get an early goal back in this second half. And of course, it is at Turf Moor, so if they can, then the fans will be on side and try and get them another goal as well. But yeah, I can't say I'm surprised because we've seen it. West Brom, the form has shown. 2 very, very strong teams in the league. Let's be honest here, and I'm interested to see what happens in the second half. But yeah.
Yeah, big up Cameron. To the stats, it's saying Burnley had more shots, but 0 shots on target. 7 shots, 0 shots on target. West Brom had 6. West Brom had 6, 1 on target. So not only 1 on target, and
that's not good though. If you're at home and you've got 0 shots on target, that's not so good.
And it been all Burnley on the ball, 68% off the ball. West Brom had 32% off the ball, but we expected Burnley to have more of the ball anyway. Is Jay Rodriguez playing?
No, he's on the bench, so that may be an option for Burnley to turn to and obviously get yourself a goal, because obviously we know how clinical he can be. So, yeah.
Yeah, but we'll get into these. We might do the 3 games next week as well, because it's only 3 games next week because, of course, the FA Cup and all. Wait, is it FA Cup? It is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the FA Cup next weekend.
Yeah, FA Cup and all that. So, yeah. So, the first game then, Coventry against Norwich, of course. Norwich, of course, battering Preston away 4-0 last time out. Coventry, of course, losing 1-0 against Burnley. Only losing 1-0 is good, because against a top team like Burnley, I can see Norwich actually maybe just getting playoffs. But I think this will be a really tough game. Of course, Coventry ain't playing well lately. But I'm going to go to my score prediction, and I'm going to go a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, and of course for me, yeah, I mean, if you look at it really, I mean, if see Norwich managed to win their last game, of course, uh, last week against Preston away, 4-0 actually was a very good performance by them. But of course, before that, they hadn't won a game in the last 5 games. So, a bit prior to that, so they haven't been in the best of form. Coventry haven't won in the last 5. The last win actually came against West Brom. Just before Christmas actually. So for me, Norwich, yeah, I think you're right about Norwich just getting the playoffs. I think they will, and I fancy them to win this one. To be honest with you, I know they're away, but I still fancy them. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 3-0 win Norwich.
Okay. The next game then, it is Scums versus West Ham.
Come on now, less than that. Put the name in, and of course, yeah.
But Birmingham City versus we got NS Sports TV. You can join us if you want, Nippon. If you want to join us, you can. I'll send you a link.
Yeah, I don't think he watches the Championship really, so I don't think he's the best player to maybe what. But like I said, probably.
We'll probably talk about transfers after and all that. So
right, okay, yeah, that's fine. But like I said, I don't think he watches much of the Championship. Of course, he's more probably. But yeah,
Birmingham against Preston. I think I think it'll be 1 goal in this. I just think both teams have playing well lately. I think, of course, Preston could actually nip this, but because the Scums are at home, I think Birmingham will win this, and I'm gonna go Birmingham 1, Preston 0.
Yeah, I mean, it will be very intriguing actually this game because, of course, Preston on the back of that 4-0 defeat at home, which is a bad result obviously for them at home against Norwich. Although Norwich are a very strong side, so let's be honest about this. But Preston will be eager to bounce back, and I don't know. Something's just telling me that Preston may get this win. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 Preston. I think Birmingham will score, but I think that Preston will want to get back to winning ways, of course, after that bad defeat. So, yeah, that's the way I see it going anyway.
Yeah. So the next game then will be moved on to. Come on, you start us off. Blackpool taking on Huddersfield. Big game for you.
Wow, this is just such a crucial game.
I guess it's an early start for you tomorrow.
It's not actually. Blackpool's not that far from Huddersfield. It'll only take me about an hour and a half. But you've gone the opposite way, Nippon. But yeah, of course, this is just a massive. It's a 6-pointer this for me because, of course, both teams find themselves in the relegation zone. Blackpool just below us, only on goal difference. We've got the same points. But there's no excuses really for us tomorrow. We have to go out there and win this game. And of course, I know it is away, but I just think that we have to find a way to win. Of course, I will not tolerate or accept the negative tactics that we've been deploying in the last few games, which have ultimately cost us. I mean, I've actually gone. I think we will win. I think Blackpool will score, but I think that we will just have enough. So I'm going to go, 2-1 to us. And of course, we have sorted out our allocation tomorrow in the away end, so it'll be very, very vocal.
You can say a prediction in me. I'm just moving to the Premier League. Leicester City have just signed a player. Leicester City Football Club is delighted to confirm the signing of Victor Christensen until 2028. They didn't say who he came from, but I'm not too sure. But apparently he's a good player. But yeah, me self-avoided and move back to you.
Yeah, I have no idea who that player is, by the way. But yeah, like I said, this is just one of those games that I don't expect for the bet. It's going to be a scrappy game. Two sides obviously struggling at the bottom of the league, and I just think that obviously, and Blackpool, of course, have appointed their new manager, Mick McCarthy, who has only just been appointed yesterday. So I don't necessarily feel like he can do much in the time that he's had, so far. So I think potentially that manager balance that we've been accustomed to lately over the years, should I say, over the seasons. I don't necessarily think that is anything to go by here. But, I just think that we will just have to, just have a bit too much, providing we attack for the full 90 minutes, not just 45. I think if we can get an early goal, that will really, really settle us down, of course. But then I'd like to see us go on and get a quick, another goal instead of sitting. But yeah, 2-1 for me. Obviously, a bit of team news. Obviously, Knockout will not be available tomorrow. I did expect him to be in, but he's still suffering from when he arrived from Greece, he seemed to have a bit of bruising on his bones. So, of course, he will not be available for this weekend, which is a big blow. Lee Nichols still out, of course. He's just undergone surgery on his shoulder, so time will tell how long he'll be out for. But, of course, I expect Villa Kopic to come in and do a very good job. He's brilliant so far, our young keeper. We're still looking for a goalkeeper on loan at the moment. There's a few options weighing up just a few rumours going about at the minute. But I expect us to get another goalkeeper experience-wise before the window closes. And, of course, a big boost for us tomorrow. We have got Ollie Turton back. Of course, we do name the Ginger Cafu. And he will be back after after a serious injury layoff that he's been out for quite a while. So that's a big boost to see him back. I don't expect him to start, but it's good to have him back on the bench, utilise him in that second half if we need to do it, depending on what's happening. But yeah, man, I'm ready. I'm ready to take a trip to the seaside, but I want 3 points to come back home to. So like I say, 2-1 to us, and yeah, that's my prediction.
I think it will be a tough game, of course. I think it will be Blackpool 0, Huddersfield 2. I'm going 2-0 win to Huddersfield. I think you're playing better than Blackpool at a minute, and I do think I can see Blackpool going down. I don't know why Blackpool didn't go back in for Neil. Wait, Neil Critchley got a job in it.
I don't actually know, to be fair, but I don't think that they want to go back down the route of appointing a manager that's already been here. But of course, yeah, obviously we are in the better form in the last 5 games, but that's not consolation.
Yeah, I think Neil Critchley manages QPR from White or Luton, one of them.
Well, yeah, they haven't. Just a bit of a stat. I do like my stats tonight, but yeah, Blackpool have not.
God, put the stats out.
Blackpool have not won a game in the league in 5. They've lost 2 and drawn 3.
They'll probably beat you now.
So yeah, I mean, I don't want my weekend to be ruined. We need a win, and I don't care about the performance tomorrow. By the way, I just want a win. I don't care. We need to get a win.
Even if you win by a keeper just scoring own goal.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I'm not bothered. But like I say, if we do win, the incentive is tomorrow. If we do win, and Cardiff lose, then we can get out the relegation zone on goal difference. So yeah.
Cardiff got Millwall, so I can see you doing that. Manny put hello boys. Manny, if you want to join, you can.
Hello, Manny.
Big up. But yeah. Next game then. After the championship, we'll be talking about like Premier League transfers and all that. So So if you want to join anyone, you can.
Yeah, Manny, come on in for a bit if you want.
But next game, it's a Bristol City taking on Blackburn. I'm sorry, last week I was like, of course I'm a Tamworth fan, right? I was in Hungerford. I was saying, Blackburn gonna batter Rotherham. My mate turned around and said, it's 4-0 Rotherham. And I said, you're lying, right? And he showed me proof, and I said, how can Rotherham beat Blackburn 4-0? I think Blackburn are playing absolutely atrocious at a minute. I just think that I think they'll bottle play. They're bottle play of last season as well. So
you go back to obviously Rotherham beating. That was a very surprising scoreline for me, but it just shows the unpredictability of this league. It's mad. Yeah, I agree, man. It is. Like I said, we had those 2 wins over Christmas, and then of course we've just we've just gone back to our old ways these past few games, and it just really is deflating for me as a Terrier. And of course, we are feeling a bit. I don't really feel like I'm confident going into the game tomorrow, even though I do expect us to win. Well, it's not an expectation. I hope we can win. It's more hope, really. But yeah, anyway, I'm sure we'll have a chat in a minute if you do join.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was surprising to see Blackburn lose. But I go back to it. You know, if you don't turn up, you'll get beat.
Yeah,
That's this league for you. Yeah.
But a really good win for Bristol against the Scum last week. I think Bristol will win this. I think they'll get more wins now. I think they could get in that top half. So I'm gonna back Bristol here. I'm gonna go Bristol 2, Blackburn 1.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just see this game as a game that obviously Bristol are at home, but I feel like Blackburn are going to win this, mate, because I just think, of course, they will be hurting after that 4-0 defeat last week, and of course they will not be happy, and they'll be eager to get back out there and make it right, put it right and put that result behind them. But so for me, I'm going to go 3-1 Blackburn. I think the Blackburn will win.
Yeah. But Bristol could go down, to be fair. If they lose this, will they sack Manchester?
He's very tight down there still. Yeah, is Manny? Have you sent the link to Manny?
Yeah. He should be. Hopefully he joins.
But yeah.
Well, we won't move on to the next game until he's here.
So yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, Bristol's always a hard place to go, but I just think Blackburn will bounce back from this. And for me, I don't know if I think Blackburn tend to, no, they don't. In fact, they're very much hit and miss, Blackburn, in terms of form.
Want to know something?
What?
So Blackburn are a 16th best away form. Like, they ain't good away.
Right,
Bristol are 17th best away form. At home, Blackburn are 4th best home team. Bristol are 13th best home team.
Maybe I should have gone Bristol's way then, but I don't know. I've just got a feeling that Blackburn will bounce back.
Yeah, you might as well keep your score, because if it happens, then you change it.
No, I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it because I just think that if you are on the back of a 4-0 defeat, you are hurting, and you come out next game, you're raring to go and make sure you get a result. So I think maybe that's what they'll do. But yeah, Manny, come on.
Yeah,
we want Manny to try. We love Manny. We do. We love him. He's great.
Right, Manny is here.
Right, is he here? Yeah.
Manny, are you on your phone? Wait, oh, yeah. Make him.
All right. 2 answers. No, I'm not on my phone. I'm still on my PC, and I don't want you to get the impression that I just joined in after you said you loved me.
Ah! Yeah.
Hold on.
Oh.
Yeah. The YouTube was on at the same time, so I just had to shut that off. But listen, don't get any ideas that I just joined after you said you both loved me. I got the link, I typed it into the browser, we're just getting some stuff done. So thanks a lot for having me on. It's really good, and good to know you more in person, Bailey and Ryan, Mr. Mather. Always a pleasure.
Shit, it's nice to have you on.
Yeah, well, after the championship prediction, we'll talk about like Premier League and all that, and yeah. But next game I'll call Cardiff City take on Millwall. Cardiff are just poor at a minute. Like, where do you start with Cardiff? Like,
yeah, there's a lot of turmoil off the field as well at the moment there as well. Yeah.
I think move on to Millwall. I think Millwall are playing good this season, but they're always around the playoffs. So I think Millwall will win there. I backed Huddersfield to win. Huddersfield are gonna be out of that trot this weekend, and I think Millwall will win 2-0.
Nice, and of course for me, yeah, like I was saying, Cardiff, a lot of turmoil off the field at the moment. Obviously, they're not happy with the owner, Vincent Tan, who of course is very much disrupting the whole club at the moment for me. And obviously, there's been a few protests about him as well. The way he really is, running that club down. To be honest with you, and I do feel sorry for them in that aspect. And of course, it does feel like a similar situation to at Blackpool most recently, of course, where there were a lot of, there were a lot of kind of turmoil about their ownership, of course, and forcing the Oystons out of the club. I see that if he doesn't go soon, I feel like it's going to get ugly, really in terms of that kind of scenario that happened at Blackpool. But yeah, anyway, on to this game. I think that's not going to help them on the pitch at the moment. Obviously, they have got a transfer embargo because of, I can't exactly remember why, but they have got a transfer embargo. I was speaking to a Cardiff fan the other day on another stream. So they have got a transfer embargo at the moment, so they can't even make any signings either. But yeah, that's going to affect them on the field, and it is affecting them on the field. So for me, I think Millwall will win this one. Like I say, a solid team in the Championship now. They're always around the playoffs, or in and around the playoffs anyway. So for me, I'm going to go, sorry Cardiff, I'm going to go 2-0 Millwall.
2-0 to Millwall. Manny?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually just sort of trying to keep myself up to date by taking a look at the Cardiff City team page on BBC, because I've got to be honest, I know they sacked their manager Hudson about a week or so ago, 6 days in fact, so they'd look to be in turmoil. And of course, Ryan, your lot do have a game in hand on Cardiff, because they are just one place above you in the relegation zone in 17th, but you have a game in hand, so this should be. If this doesn't give you motivation to get a result against the Seasiders, then nothing will, in my opinion. But Cardiff don't look too good at the moment. And as for Millwall, they're certainly flying high. I'm sure you boys both know that there are a couple of games going on right now. Sheffield United and Hull, and Burnley and West Brom, but I won't talk about them. So, it's hard to see Cardiff getting anything out of this. And sadly, the Bluebirds have been that sort of a team which has... they promise so much whenever they come to the Premiership, but when it comes down to it, push comes to shove, they always end up flattering to deceive, and there are some off the field issues which still haunt them in many ways. I still don't think they're quite over the sad passing of Emiliano Sala in that horrific plane crash, and there does still seem to be a bit of a cloud. And certainly the days of the Bluebirds flying high enough to reach the FA Cup final in 2008, only to lose to Harry Redknapp's Portsmouth, are now long gone. And it's a constant yo-yo thing between the Championship and the Premiership for them. There doesn't seem to be that much in terms of stability. Maybe the recruitment isn't right. I do hope that they can turn it around, but this season they look to be in danger. And I think if they can just avoid getting relegated, then at least they can, appoint a new manager if they don't want to stick with Dean Whitehead, and just move on next season. As for Millwall, well, they're still up and there and thereabouts, so they seem to be going all right, I guess.
Yeah. Nip and put Cardiff City versus Huddersfield Town Championship. Well, I was just having a look at Huddersfield fixtures. From the 11th of March, you've got tough games for, and you've got, of course, West Brom, Norwich, Millwall, Huddersfield, Watford, not Middlesbrough, Watford.
But like I said, the next 6 games are crucial. These games, the next 6 games, we've got are winnable before that period where we have got some very, very tough fixtures.
Yeah.
And that's why we need to be picking up some points here. But yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Because
you got Cardiff on 29th of April. I reckon winner could stay up. But...
Yeah, well, I do hope that it is sorted before then, to be honest with you, Bailey, because I don't really want to be getting to the final, penultimate game of the season to see where we're going to be, because we really do need to be getting some points as soon as possible.
Yeah. Next game, then we move on to Queen's Park Rangers versus Swansea City. Then I think QPR, of course, they're playing away. They're bottled. They came back from 2-0 down against Reading, drawing 2-2. I've got Michael Beale left. What is Michael Beale doing, man? He was assistant manager at Aston Villa, went QPR for about 20 games, then bloody went to Rangers. I don't get that, but now I think Queen Park Rangers, of course, playing all right this season. Swansea City, of course, they're playing all right. I backed them to finish out of the playoffs 7th, everyone laughed at me, but they're near there, so you can't be laughing really. But yeah, I think Swansea will win this. I think, of course, they've got good players. I can see Swansea trying to get that playoffs if they beat QPR. If they beat QPR, I think they go. So they're sitting 11th, QPR sitting 12th. If they win it, they will actually go 7th. If the points go their way. So yeah, I think Swansea will win now. I'm going QPR 1, Swansea 3.
Yeah, and of course, QPR really have had a downturn of form, haven't they, lately? Of course, they were up there towards the top end, and now they've kind of dropped off. They haven't won in the last 5 games. Of course, Swansea are very much, a team that you just never know what you're going to get with them, really, because they're a team that can win one game then lose the next. So they're very inconsistent, but of course, they are in the better form. So I just think that QPR will lose this game. I know they're at home, but Swansea, I just fancy Swansea here. So for me, 2-0 to the Swans, and yeah.
Okay, Manny.
Yeah, I'm just again taking a look at it, and I think I can't really agree more with what you lot are saying. It's a clash between both two teams, which are, sort of in similar placings in the table. Swansea 11th, QPR 12th, so that's the bottom of the top half of the table. And I think Ryan's pretty much nailed it when he said that QPR have fallen away a bit. Swansea seem to be on the up. But I'll tell you what, if there's one team which has really fallen far, it's Reading under Paul Ince. I don't know if you discussed Reading, but if you haven't, we'll get to that. If you have, don't worry about it. But QPR certainly have made a lot of. They'd made quite a lot of changes in the at the beginning of this, before the beginning of this season. I'm sure they would have been looking to try and challenge for the at least the playoff places and try and get a little bit higher. So for them to have this sort of a dip in form, it's not at the best time. But one piece of consolation, and this is what I keep telling Arsenal fans, is that the season is really only half done. And I think you boys in the Championship play 46 games.
Yeah.
So it's just over halfway, and obviously Championship football was continuing to go on for a longer period of time, especially during the World Cup. A few games were played, so there is still technically some time with 19 games to go before the end of the season for one team in that middle block to suddenly turn a corner and then just come right back up. But it will be difficult, especially with the likes of West Brom, Norwich, and Middlesbrough and Watford continuing to do well, and Swansea also could be getting on the up. But it might be, in theory, hard to call this one between QPR and Swansea. But as you said, Bailey, I think Swansea might just have the bit between their teeth.
Yeah. Of course, the game tonight, Hull City have just got a red card. They're down to
Oh wow! Yeah.
I think Sheffield United won that now, but it was late on anyway. It must have been a fight because apparently Sheffield United had a yellow card at the same time. So something must have happened. But talk about Reading. We are actually moving on to Reading now. Stoke City taking on Reading. Of course, Stoke are playing good this season. I'm disappointed with them. But Reading, they're always. No, people expected them to go down this season. I didn't. I expected them to stay up, to be fair. I'm going to go straight to down. I'm going to go 1-1. Another draw for me.
Yeah, and of course, let's not forget that Stoke are not far off that relegation zone with 30 points in 20th place at the moment. And, it is very tight down at the bottom, really, if you look at it. But Reading, I can't believe how much they've dropped off. It's just crazy, isn't it? And of course, once you do go on that losing streak or whatever, or a bit of downward, down form, if you could say so, it is very difficult to turn that around. You've got to show your true character, of course, in those moments. But they just haven't been able to. They've just gone absolutely, down really. And now, of course, find themselves in 14th place. It really is a surprise to me with how well they started for sure. But for me, I just think Stoke are struggling. Obviously, Reading, both teams not in good form to be fair, obviously. But I just think that Reading may just nick this, to be honest with you. Now. I think I'm going to go a 1-0 Reading.
Okay, Manny.
Reading should win this comfortably. I mean, any side which has, the likes of Andy Carroll and others who still are capable, they should be able to do well. And this should be the win that should get them back, get them back up. I mean, we talk about how far they've fallen, but having said that, they're really only 2 points behind Norwich City, who are in 7th. And of course, West Brom are in 6th with 41. So that's a further 2 points, giving them a 4-point gap. This should be the win that will really define Reading's season as to whether or not they really have the bottle to, really work. I don't see them dropping so fast to get relegated, but, no team is too good to go down. I think Paul Ince has definitely proven his mettle as a manager. I mean, he's obviously had some stints with the likes of Blackburn and MK Dons, which didn't really do. I mean, Macclesfield, if I'm not wrong, which didn't go too well, but it helped. It was a part of his learning curve, I think. And I think he has started to turn the corner a bit. It's just disappointing that they're going on a run right now. But this is a good time to play a Stoke City team, which, as both of you agree, are not in really good form at all, who are really struggling. I think it'll be a comfortable 2-0 win. I think, the Royals will be eager to silence a few of their critics, and I think they will turn it on. 2-0 to the Royals.
Okay. Move on to the next game then. Watford taking Rotherham. A couple of weeks ago, I would have probably said Watford just smash them. But I think Rotherham will give them a really good game this weekend. I think, of course, their big win against Blackburn, I think that will give Rotherham confidence going into this game. Watford then playing good this season either. I think Watford will win because they're at home, but I think it'll be a tough game. Of course, they've got former Aston Villa striker Keenan Davis, of course, who've been playing all right for them. But I think they've sold like a good player. If they kept Dennis with the Sarr link up, of course they've still got Sarr, but if they kept Dennis as well, they'll be probably scoring more goals because there was when Dennis were playing for Watford. But yeah, I think of course Rotherham, I think they'll stay up. I really do. I think Cardiff are worse than Rotherham at the minute, and I think Watford will just win that. And I think it'll be goals and go Watford 3, Rotherham 2.
Interesting. And of course, obviously two sides that obviously Watford, very much huge pressure on them to be in the playoffs or in or around there this season, really, to be honest with you. And of course, it doesn't always go that, and it's very tight up there. Rotherham obviously on the back of a big win, obviously very, very surprising win, even though it is unpredictable this league. I didn't expect that, of course, against Blackburn last week, 4-0. But they're a team that still struggle a lot, Rotherham, let's be honest here. And obviously, before that game, they had lost. They hadn't won in 5 prior to that, of course. Losing 4 and drawing 1. So they're a side that are very hit and miss, really. And obviously, they were at home last week. But I don't see them getting anything against Watford personally. I think Watford will just have too much for them. I'm going to go 2-0 Watford.
Okay, Manny?
2-0 Watford for me too. Watford are third in the championship. They are looking nailed on to secure a playoff position. I don't think they will have enough to try to break into the top 2 because Burnley and Sheffield United are so far ahead of them. It's scary, but they definitely should have more than enough for a Rotherham side, which are as low as they are right now. 2-0 easy, and that's just me being conservative.
Okay, and by the way, Burnley and West Brom is 1-1.
Is it? Oh, wow, yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's just...
So Nathan Talla scored the Burnley goal. I think he was a super sub. I'm not too sure, but yeah, of course, yeah, that should be a good game. But yeah, moving on to the next game, then it is poor side Wigan
Yeah.
Luton. You know what? I'm going to try to this. I'm saying 4-0 Luton. I just think Luton are a class team. I watched them against QPR this season when they won 3-0 away as well. I think that's a great 3 points away against QPR. So yeah, I feel it'll be 4-0 to Luton.
Yeah, and of course Wigan are struggling, very much struggling, right at the bottom, rooted at the bottom. But of course, only a point off getting off the bottom. But of course, if you look at their goal difference, they leak so many goals. Obviously, minus 20 goal difference. I mean, come on, they just obviously Kolo Toure's come in and try to make take his own stamp on things and obviously make a difference, but it's just not happening. They lack a lot of quality. Wigan, and it's strange really with Wigan because they're too good for League One, but when they get to the Championship, they seem to really struggle. And of course, they were once in the Premier League. Don't forget, but yeah, Luton, yeah, they're a good side. Obviously, I really do feel envious of Luton this season because, of course, we should be up there with them. Obviously they are in ninth, Luton. Obviously where they came from last season, we should have been up there with them, really. But of course, various things happened and it didn't go. But so yeah, I do feel a bit envious of Luton, like I say. But yeah, Luton, I can't see. I have to go with Luton, unfortunately, for this one. 3-0 Luton. Yeah.
Okay. Before I get on to Manny, it has been breaking news that Thomas Tuchel is not interested as Tottenham mentioned now. He could be going to Barcelona.
Ooh, wow.
So, yeah, that's what Sky Sports are saying. Well, it says here Thomas Tuchel not interested in Tottenham job as he aims to be Barcelona or Real Madrid manager. One of them. Okay.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure both offer math managers, but yeah, we'll wait and see.
Yeah. I mean, Manny, what do you think of this game?
Manny, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, once again, some of these games, you see the difference in class, the levels with this thing. I know, obviously, Hanno, as a Luton fan, will be looking forward to this game because Luton are his championship team. And Wigan, let's not forget, not only were they in the Premiership, but once upon a time they were FA Cup winners under the now Portugal manager, Roberto Martinez. How that guy was able to land that job will always baffle me. But they're obviously another team that wasn't able to, capitalize on the good times that they had, and they've now fallen a little bit. And the fact that they're in the relegation zone and Luton are as high as they are, that says it all. 3-0, easy. Ryan and I are on the same page.
Before we get on to the last game, Patrick Vieira, Crystal Palace manager, has said that Newcastle can win the league. Do you both agree?
No, I do not, and that's very delusional to say that as well, by the way.
They will challenge, but I do believe that the lack of experience will be their undoing. And of course, there is an Arsenal connection in that the former Hale End boy, Joe Willock, is in that Newcastle team. He came back, of course, to the Emirates and had a decent game where he ran quite a lot, but he could potentially be one of the weak links. He's not really as prolific a goal scorer as he used to be. Of course, with Isak coming in and some other players also waiting in the wings, it could very well be that Newcastle do go on quite further this season. They are, of course, in the semi-finals of the EFL Cup. I don't know who they'll be playing, though, because I know United have Forest and Newcastle have another team.
Oh,
it's Southampton. Yes, Southampton. My bad. Southampton. Yeah. So they could also reach the final of the EFL Cup if they're able to get past a Southampton team, which might have a bit of a flicker in them, but ultimately are not really good enough at the moment. As far as winning the league is concerned, no. Wait for next season. And Patrick, I'm disappointed in him. Stirring the pot. Seriously, you know better than that.
Anyway, a bit more breaking news. I'm saying all breaking news tonight, but it'd be more breaking news that if West Ham lose tomorrow, David Moyes. Well, I don't get this. Like, if it's a draw, yeah, both managers will get sacked, and Lampard will go to West Ham, Moyes will go to Everton. That what Sky Sports said. Well, I
What on
don't.
earth?
I
Oh,
don't.
for Pete's sake.
I don't get that. I don't get that. So yeah, but
But
I
yeah,
think I think Lampard should have gone a while ago anyway. But,
yeah. For me, I agree.
But
yeah.
let me move on to the last game and we'll talk about the Premier League after. So it is the Derby day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Derby.
We're
day.
side versus T side, eh?
It is Sunderland taking on Middlesbrough. Both teams are playing good in the Championship. I know Sunderland lost 3-1 away against Swansea. Of course, Middlesbrough, however, they're playing really good. I think Middlesbrough win it, but I think it'll be a tight one. I'm going to go Sunderland 1, Middlesbrough 2.
Yeah, nice prediction there. Of course, yeah, obviously Sunderland back in the Championship and very much holding their own in the Championship, by the way. Obviously 10th place at the moment and a very solid season. They'll be happy with that, with where they are at the moment. But obviously, Borough, Borough have always been up there. They've missed out on the playoffs in numerous occasions, actually, and they'll be wanting to make sure that they are in the playoffs this time. And of course, that will be their intention for sure. And Michael Carrick doing a fantastic job, of course, at Middlesbrough. Obviously finding themselves in 4th place at the moment. So I do fancy them to get in the playoffs, I do. And for this game, it's going to be a tight one, I agree. But it's going to be a really good game, this, by the way. Obviously live on Sky on Sunday lunchtime. And, it's going to be a really good, two great teams. And it's going to be a really exciting watch for me, this. But I think Borough do get this just, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go 2-1 to Middlesbrough as well.
Okay. Manny?
3-1 to Middlesbrough. Simply put, Middlesbrough are high flying. The T-siders are really doing well. And, Sunderland, it's good to see them, fighting a lot better because I think my more recent memories of them have been of them not really being able to do that well in the Premiership and even struggling in the Championship. So it's good to see some stability coming back. I think it was last season or a season before last that they won the Football League trophy or something like that, if memory serves me right. So that win might have given them a bit of confidence to kick on this season and certainly do as well as they've been doing. But up against Carrick's Middlesbrough, I think that might be just a step too far. It should be an easy win for Middlesbrough. I'm going to be adventurous and say 3-1 to the T-siders.
Okay. Right. Let's talk about the Premier League, then the transfers.
By the way, did you boys mention that Mick McCarthy was reappointed as Blackpool manager till the end of the season?
Yes, I did. Yes, I was aware. Obviously, I did see that announcement yesterday, of course. And
Yeah, Yorkshire lad from Barnsley, though, not your neck of the woods, Ryan. And obviously a manager who's been around the block. I thought we wouldn't see much of him anymore after he left Cardiff City. I don't know how effective he will be with Blackpool, but he is a sort of no-nonsense manager who could do a decent job with them. Whether he'll get them to stay up, I don't know. But I think his home game, of course, will be against you lot. So you should hopefully have an edge, but maybe it'll be a good day for him. I don't know. But for you, Ryan, I'm hoping for the Terriers to win. I think you should have enough for Blackpool. Easy.
Yeah. I just still worry. I'm still very nervous, of course. But yeah, we should.
Right.
We have to be winning this game, Manny. I don't care how we do it. We just need to win. So yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So let me move on to the Premier League then. Of course, let's start with let's just start with Aston Villa. We might as well. So of course we are linked with Moussa Dembele from Lyon. Cracking signing. Of course we sold Danny Inch yesterday, and I don't really want to talk about it because we should have kept him. I just don't know why we sold him. And he could only be having one day with David Moyes. He could only be having one day with David Moyes, then he could be gone. But yeah, of course we are trying to get players. Of course, I call Moussa Dembele, that Jim Uma from Villarreal. We are trying to get loads of players, but tomorrow's game against Southampton, like you're nervous against Blackpool, I'm nervous against Southampton. When
Yeah.
I think Unai Emery has said in this press conference, if we keep Ward-Prowse out of the set pieces, then we should be fine. And I think that's the only good. We will be booing Che Adams tomorrow. Of course, former Birmingham City
Oh yeah.
fan.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be booing him because last time they came to Villa Park, we booed him and they booed Danny Ince. What was pathetic, I thought. They booed Danny Ince because he did everything for them. So, but I'm glad that he didn't go back to Southampton. To be fair, but
Yeah.
I think of course Aston Villa's transfers. Moussa Dembele should be a good one. I'm gonna actually move on to Premier League transfers actually and see. Let's talk about the Arsenal signing. Of course, Trossard. What a signing from Brighton. Let's go with Ryan first. What a signing, Ryan.
Oh, well, I'll let Manny go first, seeing as though, obviously, I don't want to be taking first dibs at this. Of course, I'll let Manny speak. Yeah.
No, mate, listen, you're welcome to do that because I've already said what I wanted to say on 2 streams. So go ahead. Your observations go first. I've talked enough.
Yeah. Okay, then. So, yeah, I mean, it's a good sign. Obviously, a player that knows the Premier League very well, but a very good player. He's had these brilliant moments, of course, with Brighton. I do like him actually, and I think he will really add something to this Arsenal side. He will, and of course, they do have a lot of options in that attacking third. Of course, Arsenal, the luxury. I wish we had some quality in that final third, but anyway, so it is 2-1 to Burnley.
Yeah, 88th minute, 2-1 Burnley. Scott Twine first goal.
A penalty. Oh, it's not a penalty. No, we're free kick, sorry.
West Brom get battered, shagging their sisters.
Wow.
West Brom get battered everywhere they go.
But yeah, so yeah, I do think this is a very shrewd sign actually from Arsenal's perspective. Of course, especially when they were linked with Mudryk, who, as much as he's kind of been a player that maybe Arsenal would have liked, I think it may be a blessing in disguise, really, because of course you have got Trossard now. So yeah, I think this is a very good signing for Arsenal. And like I say, it'll certainly play a big part from now until the end of the season. I'm sure of that. But whether he plays week in, week out, it remains to be seen. I don't think he will potentially play week in, week out to be on TV in this side, but it'll still have a big part to play. But yeah, top, brilliant signing, and Arsenal can be very happy with securing his saves. And of course, he won't take long to settle in as well, because of course he knows the league. Okay, he's a different side. How will he deal with the pressure of playing at a big club like Arsenal? I don't know, but I think he does have the temperament to be able to handle that pressure. But that remains to be seen. We'll have to see how he gets on. But yeah, great talent. And I've always loved watching Trossard really in the Premier League. I think he's been great.
Yeah, but before we move on to Manny, I don't know if you should start him on Sunday, because of course you've got like Saka, Martinelli. At least if you put one of them up top and swap like Eddie, you could do that. But what do you think, Manny?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, there's a lot of talk about how possibly Trossard could be used as a centre forward. Although in one of my earlier streams, Ryan made it crystal clear that he doesn't see Trossard as a centre forward. Definitely someone with someone as more of a winger, really. And he does seem to be good with both his feet, so he could provide competition to both Saka and Martinelli. No, he won't start, but he will definitely come off the bench. And if you take a look at the Arsenal-Spurs game, the North London derby, which is, of course, played at the Tottenham Stadium, while Saka was allowed to run to his heart's content and caused all sorts of problems and ended up scoring that goal, which was sadly, but perhaps fittingly, noted as a Lloris own goal, Martinelli was kept quiet by Matt Doherty and company on the right-hand side. So tomorrow, for Sunday, it'll be interesting to see how well Martinelli does against Wan-Bissaka. You did say, Ryan, that given the form that AWB is in, Dalot shouldn't really come back into the team. But again, I just wonder if the occasion might, overawe him in a way, and maybe Martinelli will get back into some semblance of form. If it proves to be a bit too difficult, then Trossard will be brought on to try and add some extra dimension. Now, I take your point, Bailey, when you say that whether he will settle in is always going to be a question. But of course, his fellow former Seagull, Ben White, is a case in point. His first season with us, he wasn't exactly, pulling up trees. And then after a serendipitous brainwave from Arteta, he's now been switched to playing at right back instead of centre back. So I think Ben White will help him get settled in. I'm sure watching the style of play that we employ, Trossard will definitely have a role. And I've been critical of Arsenal's transfer dealings over the past few months and even last season. I always call them penny wise, pound foolish, because we end up losing a lot more in lieu of the players we don't end up getting. We remember Bruno Guimaraes, who went to Newcastle. We remember Douglas Luiz from September, who he wanted to buy, but he ended up staying at Aston Villa. Obviously, you're Aston Villa, of course, and I'm glad you kept him because he certainly has proven to be one of your more important players. Sorry about Ings, by the way. I thought he deserved a chance. But at least now it's a case of a door closing and a window opening, and it might be an even more attractive window. So we have a player with Premiership experience coming in, someone who will be determined to play. I think it is a measure of how Brighton were glad to see the back of him that they just gave him to us for 27 million quid when they demanded nearly twice that much for Ben White. But you know what? One man's rubbish is another man's riches. And we're certainly going to look forward to seeing how well he does with us. We have 3 competitions, the Premiership, Europa League, still in the FA Cup for now, until next week when we play against Manchester City. So that'll be exciting. Looking forward to watching that.
Yeah. Of course, Arsenal fan, not you, Manny, but Arsenal fan need to pipe down saying that they're going to win the league, because with that City win last night is just... It's going to give you nervous now, because City could beat you and they will be probably up for a game. You'll be up for it. So you need to beat United this weekend, because if you drop points and City beat Wolves, of course, all Arsenal fans will be watching it in the pub before their game against United, hoping Wolves can do something. But I can see City battering Wolves. Yeah, last up, let's just go through the Premier League predictions and we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, you also forgot to mention, Bailey, that we signed the Polish centre-back Kirill.
Yeah.
Not exactly maybe not done quite too well with Spezia and Serie A, although I'm sure his performances were decent. It's just the team weren't that good. But I remember watching him during the World Cup in Qatar. Quite impressive for the Polish team, which, of course, reached the second round only to lose to an Mbappe-inspired France. But Kirill was actually quite accomplished in that back four, playing in front of our ex-Arsenal keeper, Szczesny. I think he'll adapt to the Premiership well and provide some good competition. We needed some centre-backs, and I'm glad we've got him.
Yeah. So let's go to Premier League predictions then. First game is Liverpool against Chelsea. I can only see 1 goal in this. I hope it's a draw, then we'll be a point behind top 10. But could Liverpool be out of the top 10 this weekend if Villa pick up all 3 points and they lose? We'll wait and see. I'm going to go, because Liverpool are at home, I'm going to go them win. I think 1-0 to Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, this is certainly going to be a good, obviously an interesting game to see what happens. And of course, it is very difficult to predict this game because both teams very much underperforming this season, as what we've seen from the past. But obviously, Liverpool are at home. I did actually predict in another stream that I thought Chelsea would win, but I didn't realise that Chelsea weren't at home. So I'm going to change my prediction because it is at Anfield, of course. So I think Liverpool will win this. But yeah, again, only 1 goal, 1-0 Liverpool.
Okay, Manny.
I'm going to disagree with the both of you. I actually think that there should be goals in this because Liverpool do have some good attacking riches. I know that Cody Gakpo hasn't exactly had the best of beginnings to his time at Liverpool, but he should be expected to come good eventually. Chelsea look a team, currently in shambles. There's no real cohesion in the midfield. I don't think Potter even knows what sort of forward line he wants to get. with the new signings coming in, obviously that might give him a little bit of help. But I think at the end of the season, there will be a clear out of several players. I think Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang will be asked to leave. Aubameyang was a Tuchel signing, and he would have loved to have worked with Tuchel, but then Bowley chucked him out. So I wouldn't be surprised if Aubameyang decides to leave at the end of the season, and I'm sure he will do well at another club. But anyway, with the new signings coming in, I don't know if they'll be able to be blended in time. And they've got some issues with their defence. I do not rate Mark Cucurella, another former Seagull at left back. I think Ben Chilwell is miles better. I think Cesar Azpilicueta, his best days are long gone. Koulibaly is very, very hit and miss. Excellent one day, but absolutely error-prone the next. Thiago Silva is their best defender, but he is well on the wrong side of 30. A lot of issues about Mateo Kovacic and Jorginho in the centre of the midfield. It's a whole litany, and as badly as Liverpool's season has gone, they still have a lot of the players who can still do quite well. I just think they'll have too much for Chelsea. 2-1. There will be goals in this.
Okay. Yeah. I only went with Liverpool because Chelsea got like loads of injuries, of course, main players as well. Like Raheem Sterling, Reece James is back in training. He's set to be back for the next game. Of course, Felix, Edouard Mendy, goalkeeper, won't really start, but Pubilic, Ben Chilwell, Boja, of course, Aston Villa injured him. What was even a bad challenge? He just faked it. I don't get how he can get injured from that. Kante, and yeah, so yeah, I'm saying Liverpool just win it. Let's get on to the predictions quickly though. So Bournemouth against Nottingham Forest. I'm gonna 2-0 win to Forest. I think Brendan Johnson double. I think he's a class player.
Yeah, for me, I think Bournemouth will win this, to be honest with you. I think obviously they are at home, and I think they will be looking to focus on their home games. Of course, I know that Forest have maybe picked up form lately, but I still think that Bournemouth, obviously at home, have to use that to their advantage. And I just think that Forest away haven't been great. But yeah, for me, Bournemouth 2, Forest 0.
To be honest, Bournemouth ain't good at home. They're better than home away, but they ain't really.
Yeah, they might be, but I just think that it's only a matter of time before they do have to start picking up wins at home, and they know that. So I do think that they, because home games, they have to be targeting as many points as they can at home, and obviously away, any point away is a bonus for them, but they need to be starting picking. So I think this run of home points starts this weekend for me.
Yeah, Manny?
I think Forest have some good momentum, and they could end up, actually beating Bournemouth. And it's sad to say because I'm very well involved with the Bournemouth fan channel, Up the Cherries and All department. Shout out to them. Ryan was on the stream with them not too long ago. I think with the Bournemouth team defensively, they look practically all over the shop, and they showed that in their last game. And I think the return of Neto might bring about some stability, but even then, I just don't know if they have enough of that defensive cohesiveness or cohesion or whatever to really withstand Forest's attack. And of course, some team news is that Dean Henderson will be out. He is out for the best part of a month due to a thigh injury. So Wayne Hennessy, the Welsh international keeper, will be deputising for him. And it will be up to him to see how well he performs, because if he has a bad game, Forest might end up going into the transfer window to try and get a new goalkeeper. But I actually do think the Forest will have enough about them. I think momentum is everything. They seem to be going really well. I had them staying up, but then they scared me with their drop in form, but now they're coming back up. EFL semi-finalists, they're looking good. It'll be a tight win, 2-1 to Forest.
Yeah, just talk about the goalkeeper issue. Hesney is actually set to be out as well with an injury. So that what I heard from a Forest fan. So
oh really?
Yeah,
so Hennessey's out.
I don't know what goalkeeper they could play.
It'll be a youngster then.
Breaking?
Well, it's set to be out. It ain't actually definitely, but
he had some problems, which is why he missed the League Cup game. But he should be back fit. So I don't know where that source is coming from, but I'm sure he'll be fine to play. I mean, they haven't made a big issue out of it. I think he'll play.
They've got Jesse Lingard out as well, Willy Bolly. they've got main players out. Bournemouth, of course, got Tavernier, Solanke, David Brooks, Ryan Fredericks out. So they've got main players out as well. So yeah, but move on to the next game then. Leicester City take on Brighton. I'm gonna go 3-0 Brighton.
Yeah, for me, Leicester are really struggling out there, at the bottom end of the table. And of course, I think that Brighton are a very good team to watch. I've always said this. I just love watching Brighton play because they really are a good side to watch. Yeah, entertaining football, and of course, De Zerbi is finally, implementing what he wants to do with the team as well. After it may have taken a bit of time to do so, but so yeah, for me, Brighton win this 3-0.
Yeah, Brighton should win this, but I'm going for a tighter 2-1 win because, as bad as Leicester are doing right now, Brighton are that sort of a team which have the not nice habit of winning games they shouldn't win and losing games they should be expected to win. And this could end up potentially being no different. But Leicester are just in a little bit of a slide right now that you can't really expect too much from them. I think they've started to lose a little bit of the feel-good factor that saw them come out of the relegation zone, rise up above from the foot all the way into the comfortable middle part of the lower half of the table. But they're gonna fight. They're gonna give a good account of themselves, and they're certainly going to try. And if Jamie Vardy can possibly score, I mean that could give them a lift. I know Vardy's normally benched, but don't put it beyond him to try and bring some feel-good factor back. But it might not be enough to beat Brighton. So 2-1 to the Seagulls.
To be honest, James Maddison is set to be back for this game. So that'll be big.
Interesting dimension.
And that Hall guy is set to be back. So that'll be big for Leicester to get them. But moving on to the Saints versus the best team in the Midlands, Aston Villa. What do I say? I think this will be a really tough game. I really can, because of course, if Southampton could actually be out of a bottom three, so they'll be up for this game. This is going to be a massive game, man. I am scared of course, James Ward-Prowse. He always scores past the Villa. Of course, we've got Diego Carlos out, John McGinn is out, Lucas Digne. But Matty Cash is set to be back for this game. The starting 11, what I will go for this game, Martinez in goal. Maybe Matty Cash at right back because he's set to be back. Constant Mings and Alex Moreno, what a player. Jacob Ramsey, Luis Kamara and Bundia, and I'll probably go Watkins and Bailey up front. That's probably the team what I will go for. If we play that, then I think we'll batter Southampton. If we don't, then I think we'll lose. But I said 3 scores to each person today, and I really don't know what will happen in this game. And I won't even be watching it because I am at a football game tomorrow. I'm gonna go 3. Actually, I'll go 2-1 Villa. I think we'll just nick it, but come on, Villa, let's do this. You know me, Claret and Barney.
Yeah, and of course we know how the form is lifted for Southampton as of late, and they will certainly provide a certain test for Villa. But I do think that Villa will just have enough for here, to be honest with you. I think they will just. So I'm going to go 2-1 to Villa. But Southampton will make you work for it, and they will make it tricky for you because they've got more confidence with their form lifting up a bit lately, and obviously with a chance to maybe get out of the relegation zone now. I bet they wouldn't have thought that a few games ago, for example. So they are in a very good moment, Southampton. So it'll be intriguing, but I just think you've got too much for them. So yeah, that's my score.
Okay, next, Manny.
2-0 to the Villa, clean sheet for Martinez, and I actually might want to make a check. My lineup would be almost the same as yours, except Ashley Young would probably start at right back, and then Cash could come on and replace him.
Yeah, I think that is set to be the lineup anyway. But yeah, we'll wait and see. I would actually play Matty Cash than Young, because Young is better on the left than the right. But yeah, I think we have to play Alex Mourinho anyway, because he kept us in that game against Leeds. But if we play crap first half like we did against Leeds, then I can see Southampton battering us. We could have been like 6-1 down at half time against Leeds. But yeah, but next game then.
You've got the World Cup winner in between the posts. Don't forget that.
Emi Martinez, what a keeper! I'm sorry, I'm glad that we signed him. And yeah, he is a class goalkeeper, of course. I'm saying it now. He's one of the probably a fourth best goalkeeper. Not even that, could be a second best goalkeeper in the Premier League. Of course, Alisson is the first, and I think I'm saying it now. Martinez is better than Edison from Manchester City.
I agree. Especially with all this talk about how goalkeepers need to be able to be good with the ball at their feet and play from the back. We've seen Edison making some absolutely shocking errors. And I'm one of those people who believe in the old school values of goalkeeping, where you need to dominate your box very well, claim your crosses cleanly, make yourself big on one-on-one situations, and just, cover your angles well, make saves only when you need to make them, a bit like how David Seaman used to do in his pump for Arsenal. Martinez could have been our David Seaman, but I'm glad you've signed him, and the work that Neil Cutler did with him has been absolutely magnificent. And, he's gone from strength to strength, and I'm really, 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 really proud of him. And I'm sick of these Arsenal fans, and I'm glad you mentioned them, Bailey, who tried to discredit him by saying he's not fit to lace Ramsdale's boots, or he wasn't strong enough to fight for his place and all that rubbish. To all those of you who may be watching, in the words of your beloved manager, shut your mouths and eat it.
Well, last season when Arsenal came to Villa Park, you only beat us 1-0 last season.
I know.
All Arsenal fans at Villa Park, I went to the game. Every time Martinez was on the board, they were booing him, and he basically done everything for you. Basically, I think he was your probably best goalkeeper, but now you got Ramsdale. I think
you're preaching to the choir.
Yeah, I think Martinez is better than Ramsdale, but yeah.
I agree. Thank you very much indeed.
But moving on to the next game, it is West Ham against Everton. David Moyes. Lampard has to go. I'm sorry. I hate Everton. I hope they go down. I hope Pickford's leave, because I will actually get him for a backup. I know he wants to start, but I would actually buy him. But yeah, I think West Ham, mate, they're at home. They're winning this. The fans will be behind West Ham. Everton fans, after the game, they'll be all on the pitch trying to get Lampard and all that, throwing Brits. They're sacking the board tomorrow. It's a massive game at the London Stadium tomorrow. And I can't believe, I know it's a 3:00 game, but I expected it to be like I don't know, on a Sunday, on Sky Sports, because it's a massive game. I think this is one of the massive games this weekend, and I'm backing the Hammers, the Irons, to get this win this weekend. I'm going West Ham 2, Everton 1. Leeds United could actually be in the bottom 3 this weekend, so get Leeds in that bottom 3, because they're falling apart. They're going down. All Leeds fans coming to me, we're staying up. We should have beat you. We don't care. We're Aston Villa. We will always beat you, because you never beat us. And yeah, I'm saying 2-1 to the Irons. Boy.
Yeah, I think, like I said, the magnitude of this game this weekend is huge, isn't it? And of course, both teams in real trouble at the moment, and Everton back down again there this year. I think they was very much lucky that they didn't, go down last season, once a year. But I don't necessarily think they'll be lucky again. This time, if they don't book their ideas up. So for me, I think West Ham are at home. I think that West Ham will just edge this, but I don't think there'll be much in it. I think it's going to be 1-0 to West Ham. I don't see it being a high-scoring game. And Everton, it kind of feels like if whoever loses this, I think obviously the manager will be departing the football club. So massive stakes, and just 1-0 to West Ham. I think they'll just have too much.
Yeah, the tragic thing about this, boys, is that this is normally a game where you'd expect both teams to produce some more than decent football and really make a fist of it during their time in the Premiership. The fact that both teams are struggling very badly under managers who have very close links to both clubs is disheartening, really. And with Everton, with the squad they have and the players they have, they shouldn't even be here. I mean, you mentioned Pickford, England's number one. They've also got Connor Cody, Wolves captain, on loan at Everton, who is, I think, a good quality defender who's more than decent. Some good striking options as well. Onana, Iwobi in the midfield. I do think Seamus Coleman's best days at start have already gone, so he shouldn't really be playing too much for Everton anymore. But there are still some decent players in the Everton team, and even in the West Ham team, of course, there's Declan Rice. A mate of mine calls him Tilda after Tilda Basmati Rice. Yeah, not really a very subtle joke, if you know what I mean. And with the talent that they have, they shouldn't be down there either. But it's a sign of the times. It's a sign of how poorly they're both performing. And I'm actually, though, going to stick my neck out and say that West Ham also don't exactly have that much in terms of confidence going for them, whereas Everton have this habit of making their prognosticators look really stupid. And mind you, they're one of the only few teams who have never been relegated from the Premiership. I don't believe that Lampard will be the one who will take them down. They always have this habit of pulling a result out of the hat whenever you think they're down and out. I'm going to stick my neck out and say a 1-0 win, but this time for the Toffees.
Oh, okay. Next game then is Crystal Palace against Newcastle. People say Newcastle will batter Palace this weekend. I can't see it. Palace are good at home. They've got good players like Elise. They could have beat United, but of course, Aaron Wan-Bissaka had Crystal Palace forwards in his pocket. Wilfried Zaha is just a muppet. I hate him. I remember when they came to Villa, I think this season or last season, when we were singing a song to him, then he came in front of where I sit, shushing us like that. When there was 1-0 down, he is just a muppet. But I think Newcastle will just win this. I'm gonna go Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle 1.
Yeah, and of course, this is a really intriguing match this week. And like you say, Palace, picking up that late goal against United and, feeling like a win, of course, for them. And Elise, I agree. Elise is a great player, very exciting. Interesting to see how he, obviously still young, see where he goes in his journey to, obviously, and seeing how good he can get, of course. But yeah, Zaha, I think Zaha is very disappointing, really. I think he's just there is a reason why he hasn't been picked up by a bigger club and actually been able to stay at a bigger club, by the way, because I just think that he just lacks consistency and is very much I think he's had very much questionable attitude issues at times as well. He just hasn't fulfilled his full potential for me, Zaha. But Newcastle, yeah, like I say, strong seat, but like I say, Selhurst Park's always a difficult place to go. So I think that Crystal Palace will actually pick up a point here. I think that it's going to be 1-1.
Before we move on to Manuel Club, Burnley are now 19 points ahead of third. So I think they could be getting promoted. But anyway, Manny?
I think there will be more goals in this. I think with Isak coming into the team and also several other strikers waiting in the wings, I just think Newcastle might have a bit too much for the Eagles. And so it's going to be interesting to see. Of course, it's a battle of the birds, the Magpies versus the Eagles. Normally, wisdom would say that the Eagles would come out on top, but I think the Magpies might have a bit too much for the Eagles this time around. The Eagles will huff and puff, and they certainly were good value for their point against Manchester United, but I think Newcastle are going to want to use this game to try and make sure they make inroads into that Palace midfield and defence and really take advantage of any kind of opportunities they can get. there'll be goals in this. 2 for Newcastle, maybe 1 for Palace. No clean sheet for either Nick Pope or Vicente Guaita, but the Magpies come away with the 3 points.
Okay.
2-1.
I'm only saying one guy in it because Newcastle midfield is going to be like weak. Like they haven't got Bruno Guimaraes for this game. Of course, he's out with an injury. So and they could be playing Jacob Murphy, but I don't think it's that good, really. But
Yeah.
I think John Joe Shelby is also out, right?
yeah, he is. So gonna be. I think Longstaff for Newcastle could be good, but he's been turning up lately. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Sean Longstaff, Joe Willock,
Yeah.
some of those guys.
But yeah. Next game then, it did Leeds Brentford. This is always a big game. I'm pretty sure they played last game of the season last season, and Leeds just stayed up. When it was 2-2, I think, or Leeds scored the last minute winner to win 2-1. But yeah, I think Brentford will win this. I think I've got Ivan Toney. What a player! Could this be his last game in the Premier League? Because this is probably the last game in the league for him. Before he of course goes and get that ban for Leeds. You know, I will play the Muppet Patrick Bamford. But I think Brentford win. I think Toney will score. I'm saying Toney double. Get Ivan Toney in this weekend in your fancy league because he is gonna bag some goals this weekend. And I'm gonna go Leeds 1, Brentford 2. I'm going 2-1 win to Brentford.
Yeah, for me, this is going to be a good game, but I just see it only going one way personally. I think that Leeds will struggle against Brentford. Brentford just going to be too good for Leeds, I think. Toney, of course, will be looking to get another goal or two, and yeah, I just think that they will win this game. I'm going to go 3-1 Brentford.
And can you see Jesse Marsh, one of the people getting sacked this weekend?
I don't really see that Jesse Marsh is going to be getting sacked yet because, of course, they have dropped off lately. But I don't really see that name being, mentioned just yet.
Leeds fans were singing away against Villa. We want Marsh out.
Oh, really? Right. That's interesting to hear then. But of course, I'm loving to see. Of course, I'll just add this in before I pass it. I'm loving to see Leeds struggles because, yeah, I just can't stand.
I hate Leeds. I think everyone hates Leeds. We hate Leeds more than you. We hate Leeds more than Manchester United do. But yeah.
But yeah.
Manny, score prediction.
I'm actually going for Leeds United to win, and I'll tell you why. Because Brentford are again another of those teams who struggle against teams that they should be beating, and I just wonder if Toney potentially being banned could have a bit of a negative effect on the Brentford team as a whole. It really shouldn't because, they do have some excellent players in their team. I'm looking at Mikkel Damsgaard, the Danish international, and a few others who can also do quite well. But, you were witness to how well Leeds were playing against your lot, Bailey. And as you said, you could have been down by a big margin at one stage, only for who to keep you in the game with some fine saves, and the defense also for the most part holding their own. And I think with Bamford coming back, that will actually add a little bit more in terms of an attacking dimension. I think if Jesse Marsh chooses his side wisely, he should be able to find a way to sort of neutralize that Brentford midfield and also get the attacking players in. Tyler Adams being out might still be a bit of a problem, but I think they have actually more than enough in their squad to try and compete. And with the Elland Road crowd behind them, as you mentioned, this was the last game they played. So I'm pretty certain that the Leeds fans will want to try to recreate that spirit of that day when they pulled off that terrific, great escape at Burnley's expense, of course, if memory serves me right. So this should be a 2-1 win for Leeds. I'm going for that.
Okay, so next game is Manchester City against Wolves then. Of course, you will want Wolves to win, but I can't see Wolves winning, to be fair. I just think they are playing good lately. Let give them positive.
Yeah.
But I think, of course, City will win it. Of course, Wolves did play well against Villa, but we always play bad against Wolves. Like, Yeah, I can't done that. But I can't stand Wolves fans coming to me saying they're the best West Midlands team at the minute in the Premier League, because you ain't. Look at the table, look at the squads. You can't score goals. Like, I don't. I'm pretty sure they scored less than West Ham this season. I'm pretty sure they've only scored 10 goals this season, and West Ham have scored 15. So, but I think City smashed it. I think Grealish will score as well. He will get booed, but he's gonna score and shush them Wolves fans, because we know what Grealish is like. I think he was one of the best players in their last win against Spurs. I've got Mahrez, what a player. Haaland hasn't scored in 2023 this season. He needs to score here. I think he will. And Nunes has more goals than you in 2023, and that's embarrassing. So go and pop with some goals against Wolves. I think he'll bet 2. I'm going, and I think Grealish will score and shush them away fans when they're booing. I'm going Manchester City 3, Wolves 0.
Yeah, for me, Man City all over this for sure, and I expect to see lots of goals from City and Wolves. Yeah, I agree. Wolves have impressed me too. I think they've picked up and they have certainly been playing some good football, but they just haven't got a goal scorer that can score. They just can't seem to get the ball in the back of the net, and that's what it's about. And that's why they're down where they are.
They want Ollie Watkins off us, was a bit.
Yeah, but of course we know that won't be happening. They need to be looking elsewhere and looking to get somebody in that from now on. So I mean, I know they have got Costa coming back in, but I don't know if he's past it now. Unfortunately, I mean,
the only thing, we won't be letting Watkins go anyway, because we've just, of course, let Daniels.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't be making a move to Wolves in the predicament they're in either, to be honest.
Yeah.
And of course they are one of your right, but yeah. So yeah, I don't see this going any other way than a City win. So I'm going to go 4-0 to Man City, and Wolves are just going to have to
score and shush them away from.
Yeah, I do. I think they will do, actually. To be fair, you do see it, don't you, sometimes where players get jeered and then they end up scoring and then go up to opposition fans. But Wolves are just going to have to reset after this game. Forget about this game. Obviously, get this game out of the way, then refocus and start picking up some wins.
Can you see City changing the squad, of course, like bringing Foden back in, De Bruyne and all
that? Obviously, yeah, I mean, De Bruyne definitely come back in. Obviously, Foden. I think Foden should come back in because I am a really big fan of Foden. I think he's a great player.
That's the thing, because Grealish played well against Spurs. Mahrez was man of the match.
Well, this is the problem, of course, and of course he has got that connect. I think Pep Guardiola will probably start Grealish, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Foden as well at some point throughout the game. But yeah, he will certainly have a role to play. But yeah, 4-0 my scoreline anyway.
Manny?
3-0 to City. No discussion. What happened?
What did you say? Someone called
I said 3-0 to City, no discussion.
Okay, I'm saying 3-0, you're saying 4-0. So the next game then, it is Arsenal against Manchester United. Probably is the biggest game this weekend. I think, Arsenal playing good, United are playing good. Of course, I think it'll be a good game. I'm gonna go Arsenal 2, Manchester United 3. I'm going 3-2 win to United. I'm saying Marcus Rashford. I know you're like the best home form in the league, like one of the best home forms, but I just think like with United, I know they don't have Casemiro, but they did it last time, and now we'll have to do it this time. And I think it will go down to the last 5 minutes. I think if it's 2-2, I think both.
You're mute, mate. You're mute.
Yeah, you're on mute, Bailey.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
So someone called me again, man. But yeah, I think it will go down to the last 5 minutes, and if it's 2-2, I think like both team. Like, I think both fans will be nervous. So I'm gonna go 3-2 United. I can see goals though. Right?
Yeah, of course. And I am very much looking forward to this game on Sunday. Of course, I'll be watching in anticipation as a neutral. And of course, it is definitely going to be a game for the neutral, this one, in terms of, being able to enjoy it the most. But yeah, we have seen some classics over the years with Arsenal and Man United. And I do expect this one to live up to that billing as well, by the way, because it's two teams that are very much in good form, two great sides. Yes, United are without Casemiro, but look, it is a big blow for them, let's be honest. But they still have the likes of Fred that can come in and do a very good job, and I do like Fred. I think he's a great player. Okay, not up to Casemiro's level, but he's still a very good player. He will do a job for you. Of course, Arsenal, it'd be interesting to see, if Trossard maybe starts. I know Manny said he wouldn't, but he will definitely play some kind of role, I feel. But yeah, this is set up to be a great game. Rashford is in the form of his life, like I said. I think that Rashford is going to keep scoring. I think he's going to score again in this game. But yeah, I'm going to go Man United 2, Arsenal 1. I just think that Man United are just going to win this game and bounce back from Crystal Palace. But it will be interesting to see, what kind of tactics both coaches deploy and, who wins the tactical battle. But yeah, I'm just very much looking forward to seeing plenty of goals, plenty of battles, and a very, very good match to watch. But yeah.
Okay, Manny?
I'm going for a 2-2 draw. Both teams are going to be up for it. Ten Hag is a tactical genius, but Arsenal have the home support and also the momentum with them. I like how both of you are predicting a Manchester United defeat, a victory, and Arsenal to lose. Because so far, Arsenal have been, proving a lot of people wrong. And certainly when we played United at Old Trafford, we didn't have Thomas Partey in our team, and he has been in pretty good form with us. I'm sure United's central defensive midfielders, whether it's Fred or Scott McTominay to partner Christian Eriksen, they're going to be determined to prove to Erik ten Hag that they deserve to be in the team on merit. And it could very well be that Wan-Bissaka does start. He might, if he's able to do to Gabriel Martinelli what he was able to do to the Crystal Palace forwards, then United could pretty much have the upper hand. And they might decide to stick Luke Shaw on Bukayo Saka with Lisandro Martinez as the centre-back. Yeah. But again, this is a game which I see, two teams cancelling each other out. I don't think, United could be determined to win because of the draw at Crystal Palace, but they're going to cancel each other out. I'm certain of it. 2-2 draw, and that should suit Arsenal just fine. Thank you.
And the last game on Monday night, it is Fulham against Spurs. Fulham, what a team, man. Spurs, will Conte be gone after this game? But yeah, I think, of course, Spurs are strange. They lose 2-0 against Villa, lose bloody 2-0 against Arsenal, then go 2-0 up at half time, then bottled it second half. But if Fulham win this, they could actually be 4 points behind top 4. Could Fulham actually get top 4? Like, could they? But in this game, Fulham are at home. They're an 8th best home team. Away, Spurs are a 6th best away team. So I'm going to go Tory. I'm going to go Fulham 1, Spurs 1.
Yeah, and for me, this is going to be a really interesting game, for sure. And I've certainly been impressed with Fulham this season. I really have, because, they have been known for being a yo-yo club, over the years. But of course, they have really, really held their own in this season and look like they're going to be all right this season and be able to stay up and build on it. And which is really good to see. They play some good football. Obviously, Tottenham, we know the issues they've got at the moment with not just on the field but off it as well. Of course, very much a lot of them rest. with the likes of Daniel Levy and ENIC, who really do need to go. Never mind sack Conte. I think the board needs to be sacked, but of course it never really works like that. And yeah, I just think that Fulham will be too strong here. Unfortunately, I don't see them. I don't see them slipping up. So I think they're going to win 2-1.
Okay. Manny.
Spurs are in disarray, and Fulham are on the up. This should be a match which Fulham do take advantage of, but if they don't, it'll just highlight their own lack of experience, and that could very well be another reason why Fulham won't get into the Champions League. But they should certainly make a strong push for a Europa League place or a Conference League place, and certainly stay in that top half of the table. And certainly the way several of their players like Ream, De Cordova, Reed, and even ex-Arsenal keeper Bernd Leno have been playing this season, they certainly do look good. And it's a good time to be playing Spurs after their demoralising defeats to Arsenal and Manchester City. I don't see Spurs, funnily enough, for all of their talent, going to Craven Cottage and doing as well as they need to. But if Fulham don't do well, then it could just be an indictment of, the fact that they're not really that experienced. They need a little bit more steel to get to where they would aspire to be. But I will stick my neck out and go for a 2-1 win for the Cottagers. I just think Spurs are they're completely in disarray.
Yeah, absolutely. And Manny, I just want to ask you, what have you made of Willian this season for Fulham? Because obviously XR, I think he's been quite good, in terms of what he's done this season so far for Fulham. He's really contributed.
Yeah, here's the thing with Willian. I mean, obviously his best days in the Premiership were at the West Londoners.
Yeah.
The other West Londoners, that is, Chelsea, before he came to Arsenal. With Arsenal, it just didn't work well for him because maybe he wasn't in the right system and maybe we just couldn't get the best out of him. Credit to him for deciding to walk away. And then coming back to Fulham, obviously, he's felt as though he's had a point to prove and he's done well so far. So he has been key. And of course, I think the proof of the pudding will be when we travel to the Cottage to play them. It will be interesting to see how well he does and what sort of plans we have for him and what sort of plans he has for us. So he's improved a great deal and he certainly looked a little bit better. And I mean, I know he's coming near to the end of his career, but he's proving that there is still some life in him. So good for him. Happy for him.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. That's another video. You enjoyed it, please subscribe and like. But before we wrap this up, we will go through their YouTubes and their social media. So let's start with Ryan first. Say YouTube and Instagram and all that.
Yeah. So you can find me on my channel, like it says down here, Huddersfield Town Fan TV. Just done a preview this evening ahead of our game tomorrow. So go and check that out. Subscribe, like I say, on the road to 300 subscribers. Really appreciate everybody that supported me so far. So yeah, like I say, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Help me get to the target next. And then also on my socials, Twitter and Instagram, HGFTV8 as well. So follow me on there as well. Like I say, thank you for having me on, Bailey, and thank you everyone for supporting my channel as well. Big up.
Manny?
Yeah, Bailey, thanks a lot for having me on. It's been good to be here, son. And I know that it was sort of a last-minute invitation, but I'm glad I hopped on. And I'll hope to do some more work with you in the future. No YouTube channel of my own, but you can obviously find me on a lot of other channels on YouTube. Shout out to Del Boy Gunner TV, Oris Talks Football, Hanno's Coach Corner, S Featley TV, of course, Tony Claude Gunner TV, Danny AFC TV, several other channels where I go. Huge shout out, of course, to the Bournemouth channel, Up the Cherries in all departments. I do a lot of work with them, whether it's the cherry picking series or the free for all shows. Also, big up to Ryan as well. I've done a video with him. I would love to do another one sometime soon, maybe to talk about a good result, hopefully the next time around. And big up to you as well, Bailey. Thanks for having me on, son. And it's been good so far. As far as social media is concerned, you can catch me on Instagram, Manny Thangatherai 1981. That's my full name and my year of birth. Twitter, it's Thangatherai 1981, which is my surname and my year of birth. And I love coming on these channels to talk football, have a more responsible discussion with people who enjoy the game. It's not about ridiculous, disrespectful banter between teams saying your team's rubbish, we're better than you, and all that rubbish. No, We are united by our love for the game. We have respectful discussions with one another, some good debates, and that's the way it should be. So thanks a lot again for having me on. To all of you who've been watching, thanks a lot for joining in. Have a good weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe. Be happy. Don't do anything that myself, Bailey, or Ryan wouldn't do. But for now, I'm out.
Yep. So yeah, that is their social medias and everything. Of course, there will be a match preview on my main channel tonight for Aston Villa against Southampton. I haven't posted it yet because I've been really busy with like live streams on OS channel and all that today. So yeah, go and subscribe to my main on the road to 100 subs. And yeah, subscribe to this channel. Big up to Manny, big up Ryan. Hopefully, we'll see you lot soon, of course. Hopefully, I am going to, of course, I'm a Tamworth fan as well, so I'm going to their game tomorrow. But hopefully, Villa can pick up the massive 3 points against the Saints tomorrow. And of course, hopefully, we're all happy this weekend by Monday. And yeah, because I don't want to I don't want to get taken a mick out of that we lost against bottom of the league because but subscribe, like, and we are out.